Pluto is a very interesting planet. In astrology, it rules transformation and rebirth. But at the same time, it can also rule being fixed and stuck. In terms of, you'll find some people with strong Pluto aspects can be the most, people who they're very in tune with their inner power, very aware of who they are, very like natural psychologists who naturally just get people, who naturally can understand people's patterns and who can stay on top of situations for the most part. They can also be very controlled. But there are other qualities of Pluto. For instance, the obsessiveness. Plutonians, as I call them, actually Plutonians can also mean the other kinds of Plutonians, the ones who rule the world, the ones who have a lot of money. That's also is ruled by Pluto. Shared resources and being able to control a large number of people, or having a lot of power over a large number of people. But for this video, I mean Plutonians in the sense of people who have strong Pluto aspects in the chart. You guys can be very obsessive. And this is where some of your anxiety can come from. And sometimes Pluto rules, the things we bury, the emotions we bury, the memories we bury, the parts of ourselves we bury. And so with Pluto, it can be such that you get very obsessed. You can get very obsessed about things. Or you can bury things. Like, it's different sides of the coin. Different Plutonians will behave differently. Some will bury instead of facing it. And they keep attracting situations that are trying to force them to face that thing head on. But they keep trying to avoid. For instance, some Plutonians do not own their own power. They're always in relationships with people, they're always the submissive ones, or the ones who are being directed all the time. They don't want to own their own power because maybe earlier in their lives they got the perception that power is bad, so they don't want to own it. They feel safer when someone else is the powerful one. So they keep attracting these controlling people, these people who do not have their best interests at heart because they're scared of their own power. So the thing is, they're burying an aspect of themselves, which is they're burying their power. They don't want to embody it. And so life keeps bringing these people into their lives to force them to embrace their own power. They'll keep attracting situations where someone else is trying to control them or abuse them until they recognize their own power, you see. And then there are also the other Plutonians who become obsessive about power and being in control, such that they can't just let go, and they can't, they always want to be in control. So what they're used to, the habits they're used to, that's what they stick to. Even if something new could potentially be better for them, they just stick to what they know because they want to be in control. You get it? And there are other Plutonians who it's about controlling people. Okay, that's how they feel safe, by controlling people. And of course, this can have very bad effects, especially if their control is making other people is abusive, or is does not allow other people to be free and to be themselves, or it takes power from others. We can speak about corporations which find a way to maintain power through taking advantage of others, whether it's creating products that are harmful to gain profit, or it's manipulating other people in power so that they can just do what they want. That's the other side of Pluto, wanting to be in control all the time. And it's because some Plutonians feel scared of someone else, being the one to be in control. Of course, in the case of corporations, it's mainly about money. But in terms of individuals, they fear their shadow. They perceive their shadow as weak, and as, like if they let go of the power. If they can't control people, then they'll be controlled, or they will be put through chaos. Of course, maybe this is just some trauma from childhood where someone else controlled them, so now they're scared of being controlled. But they don't understand that true power, it comes from a certain kind of balance. You can't just be this overbearing person to others all the time. It's likely to backfire, not always, but it's likely to backfire, because people don't like that kind of to be controlled like that, so they'll probably not want to be around you. Or yeah, so the other side of Pluto that I mentioned, the obsessiveness. Of course, it could be obsessiveness with control. It could also be other kinds of obsessiveness. For instance, they might be trying to really understand something that happened either to them, or they might be trying to understand someone's behavior, or they may even be trying to understand an idea or a scientific concept, and they can obsess over it, obsess. They're trying to really find the answer, and this can create anxiety, because some of this obsession is coming from a desire to control. Of course, it's control. Even if, let's say, it's out of curiosity and it's a scientific subject they're investigating, that can also it's that desire for control. Some discoveries have been made through actually the other method, through surrender. Some people's discoveries have come through dreams and stuff. So the lesson for people who, the Plutonians who are overly obsessive, is to let go sometimes, to just like allow the universe to guide them. I know some people don't like that woo stuff, but that's the realm of Neptune, allowing yourself to be guided by the universe. Neptune rules our spirituality, rules letting go and surrender. So if you find yourself obsessive, find a way to have some kind of surrender. It could be through art. It could be through just getting some good sleep and resting. It could be through exploring new things. But the obsessiveness can create a lot of anxiety, because that obsessive focus, it can cause mental stimulation, and it can cause emotional dysregulation. So you have to catch yourself when it's happening and stop it, so that you can be more balanced and stuff, because you don't want to be having this, because some Plutonian people have this extreme emotional reactions and extreme emotional explosions towards others, which it's not good. So that happens when you have not learned how to regulate that obsessiveness. Okay, of course, the obsessiveness can also be a talent in the case of some people who make amazing scientific discoveries. Some artists as well, they're obsessed with their craft. Some yeah, it can be a good thing, but you have to learn how to be more balanced, so it doesn't affect your mental health, so you can be more regulated, and you can also learn so that not to affect the people around you, because some Plutonians, when they're in that bad mood, their mood rules the entire atmosphere, and people get scared of them and stuff. So you wanna kind of lead through healing, through, you know, by leaning on your gifts, which is you naturally tend to understand others. People with Pluto tend to have that thing. They naturally have insight towards others. If they're, of course, they also have to do some inner work. It's gonna be difficult to understand other people if you don't understand yourself. And some Plutonians are always avoiding that inner shadow work. They're always avoiding to do the inner work. So it comes out in very twisted ways, like seeking to control others, or being caught up in even some mental illnesses. But when some Plutonians are healed, they are natural psychologists, they understand their emotions, they know how to influence people, they can be natural leaders. They're also good at self-healing, healing themselves, understanding the occult, understanding the spiritual dimension, and which is what you should move towards. So guys, that's the video for today. Like and subscribe. I will see you again next time.